Good evening, Hawaii. I want to do a quick presentation on why we need to open up again and we need to balance our political powers. That's part two. So, the economic impact of Hawaii Gov-19. Let's go over this. Let's go over this map right here. So, more than 20% is Hawaii and Nevada, right? So that's where we get this number from right here. Over 20% of Hawaii workforce in tourism. Okay? And workforce participation on Oahu with a population of 924,000. Assume they're all, not all, but many are related. Something like 110,000, more than 110,000 are out of work on Oahu due to shutdown. Now let's look at, does this make sense to maintain the shutdown? Well, I'm going to hold off while the ambulance goes by. I live near a hospital. Alright, so let's see if maintaining shutdown status makes any sense. So we can understand, Hawaii ranks 5th in the country for urban population percentage. Wouldn't have guessed that, but as soon as we think about it, it's like, yeah. Yet, Hawaii ranks lowest in the country for COVID-19 total cases per million and lowest for deaths per million. Okay? Let's put that into perspective. What does that mean? In New York, more people drop dead in half a day than Hawaii has diagnosed cases in 2 months. We don't have a problem. 607 people in the state of Hawaii population have been diagnosed, and over 500 have already recovered. Right now we can see over here we still have almost 100 cases that are being treated. So I took this clipping from some newspaper article, editorial. I should have kept a source, but basically US Gov had provided $1.4 billion specifically set aside for unemployment benefits, but where is it? Apparently our system got so overloaded, all you get is, we're sorry, the system is currently experiencing high volume of requests. Please try again later. So I guess one problem is a lot of people just cannot get the unemployment benefits they should be getting. Now, what does $1.14 billion look like? Well, I would say based on the, say, 114,000 out of work, that's like 10,000 per claimant. It sounds about like 3 months, which is okay for starters. We'll see if more is needed. Now, in the meantime, how's the $12 billion Oahu rail looking right now? I shouldn't really get started on that. So, it was supposed to employ 4,000 people, and it would be very generous to say that that was 10 years of employment. And here is the source. That's all I'm just gonna leave it at that. So let's go to the curve. I did this modeling, but I'm going to back it up with Hawaii data modeling, which says exactly the same thing. It obviously becomes apparent once you see the peak and you're past the peak. And so here, this point right here is where, Gov decides once we're 13% into the curve, that's 13% is the volume under here, Gov decides to shut down Okay, I think we all get that. We didn't know where this was going. But in the meantime, somewhere, I would say by here, latest, it should become obvious that we're done. It's over. Today, right now, we are right here. We added one case today. Right now, anticipated under the curve, this portion right here is 5% remaining of the curve. That's 1/3 of the volume that took Hawaii to start the shutdown. Okay, so I anticipate like 30 more cases. But the Gov wants to wait until end of May over here, until what? We've reached 0 cases for 2 weeks in a row. From this point forward, the cure is far worse than disease. Another month, that's starting May, is another $330 million lost in wages, and we've already lost that in April. So as I told you, the Hawaii Data Bank shows the peak basically the same time. Here it is, 1 April, roughly at the beginning of April. We are over here right now, right? Well past this entire curve. Okay. So this is where I'm going to jump a little bit. You got to make this case. This right here is vote differential per state for 2016 presidential election. That doesn't get any more important for everybody. Okay. And basically, these values were basically the percent Republican votes minus percent Democrat votes. So this side is, blue states and getting bluer and bluer, and lo and behold, Hawaii outpaces California, Massachusetts, Maryland, Vermont, and New York for the top slot, the bluest state in the country. Okay? What that means to me is there's no yin-yang balance at all, right? Every state should want to be in this area right here. Why? Because here you become a swing state and you get attention, right? Nobody campaigns over here, and nobody seriously campaigns over here. Got it? Because these are given votes. It's electoral. Okay, so now I just showed you how I did the voter differential function, how I got it, and now we take away, the states are not represented as identities anymore. It's now simply a question of, it just shows as a state. The more you go in this direction, the bluer you are. In this direction, the more red the state is. So here's Hawaii, and this is debt per GDP. Hawaii is sitting, well, around 19%. Okay. And I just want to note that's about 51% over the average for red states, which the average is roughly in here. Okay. And I think what can become abundantly clear without deep introspection here is, look, the trend is like this. Hawaii, let's get more into this area. I understand we don't have to become a red state, but let's start hugging the center a little more. That'll bring our debt to GDP down. Let's put debt to GDP, or let's put debt into perspective. Here is debt per voter. So there's a certain number of voters. Voter turnout, 60% of the qualified voters, yada yada. So debt per voter in Hawaii and the other states, because this is as a function of vote differential. Every one of these dots represents a state, remember? Okay, so again, as you go more blue and as you go more red. And I think the trend again is quite obvious. It's like this, and then it's like this. So this one kind of is just a flat average. And again, I have to point out, let's look. Hello, Hawaii. Hello, Hawaii. What are you doing out here? You know, second from the worst debt per voter, debt per capita, right? $41,000 per voter. That's 24,000 over the red average. The red average, you know, it's some line right here. So yeah, this is the delta right here. Again, point being, come on, Hawaii, let's slide towards the center, and that will put us into a more prosperous area, okay? And by the way, we don't want to operate staying in debt. This is something that's only going to work now for I don't know how many decades, but sooner or later, you know, you go into hyperinflation. Okay, so here's the final slide. Here's the main point. This is what we should be doing. Let the business establishments, the economic entities, dictate their own rules. And why? Real simple. Individuals, businesses, and governments do one thing best. Voila, right here. Act on self-interest. It's a natural law. Okay? Basically, it's time to reopen and let individuals and businesses make decisions on how to operate in the current situation. And I think we all understand, most people like myself will continue to wear masks, and most places will require masks. So your mask becomes your everyday carry. And then there'll be businesses that it will be more challenging to open, like restaurants, movie theaters, and so on. But let them figure out a way. They need to serve their customers, and they need to do it right. Otherwise, they will definitely shut down. So this is the reason that prosperity exists in the world. Yes, it's called capitalism. It needs to be balanced a little bit with some social forces. No, you know, a social net, and that's what we have in the United States. But unfortunately, right now, Hawaii, as we've seen, is too far. We need to find balance, and we need to start the business now. Okay, that's what I got. Good night.